yo, welcome back to That Was Three. That was three. That was three, ref. That was three. Please excuse my voice. Went to engagement party yesterday. Had way too much fun. So Jose will be talking a lot today. But thanks again, Jose, for coming back again for That Was Three. I guess you're part of the show, and I guess you are actual co-host now. So congratulations.
Nice. Now, next thing you know, we'll both get jobs with AEW.
Yeah.
Speaking of which.
Hey. Yo, dude, he's racking up on these shirts, man. Free advertisement.
I'm just saying, man, like I'm not even a huge Street Fighter fan, but you gotta pay respect to the crossover.
Oh, so. No. We're not giving Capcom props today. We're not doing that. We don't do that here. We don't do that here, sir. No.
That's a lot of things we'll do here, but not that.
But this may be Capcom's greatest crossover of all time. Maybe, I mean, outside of Capcom versus SNK, this is probably the greatest crossover. So, a lot has happened in the wrestling world. I'm super excited for everything. Like, wow, like, dude, I got goosebumps. It's everything that happened in the last 72 hours, 40 hours, how you want to say it. It's Sunday here. We're doing this podcast. But what an amazing fucking weekend for wrestling. And I'm using my F card on Top Trio for the year. What I am super excited. I know you are. We'll talk about Rampage first, and then we're going to everything that happened on Saturday. So, Rampage, your thoughts?
So I completely hated it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm kidding. Podcast over.
Bye, everybody.
Three. That was it. That's all, folks.
That was three. No, honestly, I thought it was great. I know our 3 a.m. conversation, I kind of just threw some stuff at you, and I thought they did a really good job at making it feel like it wasn't just Dynamite Light.
Yes.
Like it was its own thing. Even though same set and everything, I did have two issues.
Okay.
One issue, don't get me wrong, I love the 4 people that they have on commentary, but 4 people on commentary is too much.
Dude.
I'm just being honest.
Oh, that was rough.
That's why I'm glad Mark Henry, I don't know if he was told to do it or he chose to do it, but where he wouldn't talk unless he had to say something very specific to like the wrestler that they were had on the camera at the time. And I was like, okay, that's great. He's just straight, no BS, no little gimmick, no little joke. He's just saying his stuff.
Yes.
And then him and Jericho working off each other was great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd even go as far as to say like just let him and Jericho be the broadcast.
Jericho was screaming over everybody else. I was like, Jericho, I understand we want to hear you, but you don't have to scream over everybody else.
And I also think too, it didn't help that he was literally watching one of his best friends, win, Christian.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers if you guys didn't watch it yet. I
mean, y'all didn't know Christian won. I mean, sucks to be you.
Man. Just the commentary, the 4 of them, it's a little much, but this is the first episode, so obviously growing pains. That's definitely something they can work on. The fact that Mark Henry actually went and did the interviews, that I thought was actually pretty cool. That was like, that. Okay.
I love that a lot.
So maybe they can kind of incorporate that a little bit more, then they'll get it. It just, it's a little much. The other thing that I had, and this is nothing against any of the matches, they were all good, they were all great, but so first Rampage, and you guys put the bar up here.
Yes.
Now, every other Rampage you guys do, if it's right here, the entire internet's going to say that the show is horrible and that AEW is failing and this and the other.
Oh, man.
So now it literally has to be up there or higher for every other match. And the problem is they cannot do that for every episode.
Well, I will give them this.
Yeah.
They're going to have 4 episodes to where they're gonna hit that mark.
Yeah,
they're gonna have a good month. They're gonna have a really good month of Rampage.
Oh yeah, no, this month, like you said, they're pretty locked in. Yeah. But after that, that's where it's going to be tricky. I'm pretty sure they can do it because they have more than enough people.
Yeah,
they have more than enough people that are willing to do matches. That
the roster, I mean, AEW's roster is freaking humongous now.
Well, like, one of the things I saw online, somebody talked about was like Rampage would be an excellent way to showcase people from like Japan, Europe, or like Mexico, places like that. Like give one of those matches to them, so that way you can really start seeing the whole, Forbidden Door being open thing. It's like, well, yeah, because look, we literally have somebody from another promotion always wrestling at least one match here. It helps, gets buzz generating, not just about that wrestler, but about whatever promotion they're from, because they're like, wait a minute, yo, that person's from that one. Gotta go look at that one too.
Can I add something to your comment about that?
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I love about Rampage is that they advertise every other promotion outside of WWE.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I was like Impact, NWA, all the GCW stuff. Like I was like, they're advertising and helping out every promotion. I respect that. I mean, beyond, because I mean, you don't want to put your resources out there and lose money and get your viewers to go to other promotions and watch your stuff. But AEW they feel so confident in their product. Look, we're going to support them, and you guys should support them too. They're great guys over there. Through our revenue, to support every wrestler that puts their heart and soul out there. We're going to promote them each and every week in their product. Love it.
Yeah. No, definitely agree. I think I think that's smart because at the same time, while they're promoting everything, they're not throwing it in our faces. Like I know some people online are like, oh, this is too overexposure, but I don't think so. I think they're doing the right amount of, like you said, like, hey, yeah, we have this going on here, but this person also is in GCW. This person, the Impact belt, like even the match for the Impact belt, they weren't throwing out Impact every 5 seconds. The commentary were treating it like just a championship match. It just happened to be another promotion's championship belt. Yeah. But that being said, dude, that match, Christian still got it, dude. I don't care what anybody says. That whole match, like he put on like the older folks say, he put on the clinic.
Yeah. When I was so proud of the fact that I saw Christian evolve since he came to AEW. When his first few matches were really bad. He was very sluggish. You could tell he was out of shape. You could tell he still had knee issues, and it was sad. And I was like, I don't know if he's going to rebound. Then I saw him. The great thing about AEW, and we'll keep saying this, they have a ranking system. You got to win matches to get a championship match. He went undefeated. Of course, a lot of this stuff is scripted, but you saw him progressively get better. And his match versus Matt Hardy, I was like,
that was still definitely one of his top matches being in AEW. But this one, man, I mean,
wow.
This one was really good because the thing that I don't know, maybe it's because of the fact that I'm older now, and I know a lot of these wrestlers are older, but it's like you're able to tell that they still want to give us a good show, but they have to be realistic as to what they can and can't do anymore. And I feel like Christian is one of those guys that he has a genuine understanding of like, okay, I can take a bump, yes, but I cannot take an extreme bump like I used to. Like he understands that he knows where his body's at. Because even that whole when he got pushed off of the top turnbuckle down to the floor. It was a quick little thing, but there was just something about it. I was like, okay, and then I was sitting there thinking like, okay, how brutal is it going to be outside? And it wasn't really that brutal because
I respect that. Yeah.
During the when they were out in Florida the whole time, one of the comments you would always tell me when we would talk about the matches is a lot of the main matches would end up spilling out to the floor and be there a little too much.
Yeah.
And I got where you were coming from, where it's like, that kind of takes from it.
Yeah, it's like when they get out there, it's like I hate to say it, they're putting their bodies and their livelihood at risk. And I'm like, guys, you already give us a good product. You don't have to go 300,000% outside of the ring. And I love it. I love the intensity, but I'm like, there's concrete. This is not the same surface as the ring. And I'm like, be smart. Please be smart. And like you said, Christian, I love the fact that him and Kenny were smart about their bodies in that match.
Yeah, exactly. Although I will say the moment when Kenny is gesturing for the Young Bucks to come out, and it looks like he is so dazed that he can't get his eyes to focus straight. I was like, he okay? Because he cannot get his eyes to look down. He's like doing this, but his eyes are like up, and it's like, can he not focus his eyes? Is that hard to get hit?
I was kind of scared about Christian Cage. He took like 3 Snapdragons, and I was like,
yeah,
bruh, like, look, I'm a little older in age. Your neck and your shoulders and your vertebrae, you get older in age, it's just not that easy to take 3 of those and just be okay.
That when he took the I think he took 2 V triggers.
Yeah.
And like especially that second one where that one the head kind of did that, and I was like, oh damn. But yeah, no, I love the fact that this one, even though there were interferences, they were very minimal. It was literally 2 times when Don got on the ring apron, and when so the Young Bucks can bring out the chair, and then I think one other time before that, where when Kenny ended up pushing Christian off of the turnbuckle, was because Christian saw Don coming. But I love the fact that as much of heels as they are, they were like, no, we're not going to overdo that. We're just going to do this simple. And they did like, the chair. You really thought Christian was like going to eat it on the chair. He reversed it. Kill switch on the chair, bruh. Yeah, that looked painful. And then like, although I did find it weird how the Young Bucks were just out there, and apparently they didn't think to stay to cover their person. They were like, here you go, bye. And so, Christian, he gets the 1, 2, 3 crowd pops. This was all that, the stuff that we had talked about when they were still at Daily's place, where a lot of the plans they had to readjust, because think about it, if that had happened at Daily's place when no one was there, it wouldn't have been as meaningful. But because Christian had this crowd who the whole time was rooting for Christian, that whole crowd was behind him 100%.
Oh yeah.
He wins, gets the belt.
Perfect setting.
That was great. The whole thing of Jungle Express being out there with him, or Jurassic Express, I mean, that's great. I like the fact that they're running with that they're showing that, they do have each other's back. And then even the whole little promo that they did with Mark Henry, where, they're celebrating whatever with a little bit of the bubbly. And then I don't know if you noticed, well, I'm pretty sure you did, but a lot of people were like, why the hell is Orange Cassidy just staying?
Number one, I don't know if it's like somebody didn't get their cues right, because there's supposed to be more. I thought there was more to that. I mean, he's the number one contender.
Yeah.
Number one contender right now. And I don't know if he's going to fight for the TNT belt or for the championship. It looks like it's for the championship belt. And I'm just like, you got him there, but I'm like, you didn't do anything with it. Like,
that was funny though, that he was just sitting there. I was like, oh, okay. I guess.
For the longest time, they didn't even acknowledge him.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's here. Maybe they're friends in real life. I don't know. There's something.
So I got to bring up something. So and we can talk about this as well. I won't make it too long and overdrawn, but I literally cried during Rampage. I literally had tears. It was a shoot, but when, I was so proud of Fuego. And Miro is the most generous wrestler. Like, people don't understand. Miro, he's God's champion, he's menacing and stuff, but he has the biggest heart. And he took those tornado DDTs like a G. He is too big to be taking those moves. Like, his body. And he took them and sold them like a G. I think it was 4 tornado DDTs. But then, I'm like, okay, commercials over with. He didn't get his contract, whatever. And then to see Tony and Sammy came out, and Tony couldn't even get his words together, and he was trying to get the paper together to get his Sammy.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, dude, I started bawling. I got goosebumps right now. People can't see it. I literally started crying because I love the vlogs. I love Fuego's story, and I see how Sammy developed, and see Fuego be able to follow that same journey with him, and see his whole livelihood unfold. And Fuego reminds me a lot of Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson, the pandemic started, Lee Johnson got his ass beat every single night. Yeah. 3 times a week, probably sometimes. And then see Fuego, all the hard work he put in. And I was just like, my wife was asleep, and I'm sitting there like trying to keep myself together. I'm trying to wake her up weeping and shit. But dude, like, I'm sorry, the Fuego thing touched my soul so hard, man. And I was just like, the setting was just perfect for all these things to happen, man. I was just like, Pittsburgh was the place. It was just right. It was like, it's a few times where I can say, did you get the atmosphere right? And the atmosphere was just perfect for wrestling and for things to change hands and for magic to happen. I miss that.
Yeah. That whole thing, I'm with you. That was great. I mean, let's be realistic. We all knew if Tony and Sammy are going out there, we know what's going to happen. But it didn't take from the moment.
No, not at all.
If anything, it kind of felt like the audience was just like, oh, we know, but we just want to make sure. Because, other promotions like to mess with us and make us think something good's going to happen, and it doesn't. But we just want to make sure, and it did, and crowd went crazy. The thing that I love about what they're doing with Miro, though, is so this is the second match he's had in a row where somebody's hit him with the DDT.
Yeah.
And commentary has pointed that out. That is some like traditional storytelling of key clues on how to take down the monster in the ring, because you give them, that's like their one weakness. So anything around that. So now it's starting to build it. So not saying that he's going to lose the belt anytime soon, but the fact that they've made Miro this monster and he can back it up, but yet he can sell for anybody. And they're also kind of weaving this story of like, oh yeah, well look, he's a monster, he's God's champ, but he's not as perfect as he says he is, because for 2 weeks in a row, the DDT has messed with him.
The small guys have been doing work on him.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, like, just Fuego, first off, that first DDT he hit, that came out of nowhere. And it was just like, if you watch it, there's somebody in the crowd that when he hits it, this person gets all excited, like, pin him. Yeah. And you see Fuego trying, but the ref is like, no. And it's like, no, idiot, fool, let him pin him. Just let it happen. Dude. We know it's scripted, but just let it happen. We don't care.
The fact that he kept doing it, and the fact that Miro would land on his neck and bring himself up. Like I said, Miro sold those DDTs. Like, it wasn't like a fake, how when somebody hit DDT, like their face doesn't hit the ground, top of his head hit the mat, and that's a big dude. And he kept on doing it to make Fuego look like he was actually doing something. Like, just. So let me ask you. And I know you have your views, and I know I'm a humongous, and over here, D, M, E,
Always got to make sure you write it the right way.
Yeah, I got to do it the right way. And before I get to that main event, this is the props to AEW. They did so much stuff in the community before this match. Britt was thrown through the first pitch. They did the food drive and the boxes and donate to the homeless. They did the conventions. They went out and hung out with the communities in Pittsburgh. The outreach that AEW did before this event, just outstanding. And then all of a sudden cultivating all this into Britt's match was just the icing on the cake. It was the icing on the cake. The whole city was behind her. It's Pittsburgh. She's Pittsburgh's champion. And it's just, the setting was perfect. And me personally, we knew, like he's talking about her, we knew she was going to win. But Velvet, Red Velvet, girl, I have never seen you wrestle like this. And I know it's because of Britt, but I have never seen you wrestle like this. And keep it up. And I hate to say this, I know she's a good guy, but I think Red Velvet has a nice career as being a heel, and she really plays it well.
Yeah.
She could spin it. She could spin it.
No, I think honestly her being the heel worked better.
Yeah.
You know, the match was like actually really good. I really enjoyed that whole match. The fact that Velvet was using so many heel tactics without actually outright cheating.
Yes.
That's like what's cool. You know, like she was taking like little shortcuts, but she wasn't like, you know, grabbing the tights or using the belt or you know, using the ropes or whatever, blah blah. No, like she was actually just using like these little shortcuts. So that's always great. Like don't get me wrong, I get why heels cheat, but sometimes wrestling they overdo it too much. Yeah, cut back just a little. But for me, like I wasn't as invested in this match as like you or a lot of other people, only because of the fact that like I'm one of those people that when I know the actual valid reasons as to why a belt is not going to change hands, it kind of takes me out of it. It's like the illusion of disbelief is kind of, you know, gone. Not to say that I can't still be caught up in the match, because their match was really good, but it's just, you know, kind of there. This Rampage ended with a women's storyline.
Yeah.
And it actually ended with the women's storyline and not like, oh, the women's match ended, but then they cut to the back because the camera just happens to catch a fight going on, you know. I've always thought that's dumb, but no, like they stayed on it. Cannot remember her name, but she came back. I thought that was pretty cool.
People were like, people thought it was Becky Lynch at first. They said if Becky Lynch would have came out, the internet would have shut down.
I you know what though, I could see that because the way that she had the hat on and her hair back, like it kind of
lost opportunity though is the fact that it wasn't Anna Jay running out. Lost opportunity.
That would have actually been interesting.
Even if she's not ready to wrestle, lost opportunity. You could have got Anna Jay back into the mold. And man, but me personally, I'm waiting for Ty Conti versus Britt. That's the match where I can't choose sides. I can't choose sides. But I want you to think about this. Back a while back when we watched the Royal Rumble, right? You and I watched it, and you know it was pretty good. The women's Royal Rumble was amazing in WWE.
Yeah,
I thought it was very well done. I'm happy Flair didn't win at the end, but I thought it was very well done. And I was so astounded by like their roster. Their roster was so solid from top to bottom. I'm like, you know, I hope one day AEW can have this because I give WWE their props. They have an amazing women's division. Probably, you know, they had years put together. And now I'm looking at AEW and I'm like, wow, like I'm going down the list. I'm like, and I keep coming up with names. And like my list is like, I have about 16, 17 girls right now to make up a solid women's division that can really go toe to toe. And they're very talented. And then I'm not even including the Japanese women that are going to come back, but I'm like, they got women who can wrestle, and they can wrestle on Britt's level. Because don't be wrong, Britt's an amazing champion. She still has work to do. She's still not the best wrestler, but there's women who can fight at her level or slightly better. And I'm like, if Britt's the top, you have plenty of women that are right off there, maybe that close.
You have actual believable competition.
Yes.
You know, like that's one thing that I kind of don't really like when it comes to wrestling from any promotion nowadays. It doesn't matter which promotion it is, but when you have a very well-established wrestler and you have this no-name who it's the first time they've ever been on television, and you know for a fact that unless it is something of a big shock that they want to give the crowd, there's no way in hell this person's winning. And again, it's the illusion of disbelief. I cannot care about the match at all. Even if the match is good, I'm just not like invested in it. So like, and AEW for a minute was doing that a lot. I know,
Yes.
obviously, because of the pandemic, you had to work with who you had.
Yeah.
Even before the pandemic, they were kind of doing that a little too much with the women's side.
Yeah, it was really bad.
And you know, I'm now glad that, like you said, that they do have this roster where all of it is now, you can pair up women with each other and it be believable that, okay, this can be a solid match and we really don't know who's gonna win, and not like a one-sided like when Rosa faced, I cannot remember her name right now, she comes out with the Varsity Blondes.
Oh, Julia Hart.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, she's not bad.
You know what? Julia's not gonna beat Rosa, man.
Yeah, but yeah, see, like, and that's the thing that I have to emphasize. It's not that these younger talents are bad.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know, I guess you could say, you know, the politics behind the scenes. You're not winning.
But see, and I look at it like this too. This is where I kind of had this catch-22. I don't think Swole's the best wrestler in the world. No, I'm wrong. But I do think if she got in a ring with Britt, they're going to put in an amazing show. Just for the fact they're the same mold.
They have chemistry. They actually have some solid chemistry. That the match, what was it? The street match in the dental office.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. That was
actually really good. That realistically, when you hear that, you're like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But they sold that. They were, and again, that is literally their chemistry. And I think that's the thing now, that the women's roster in AEW, they have chemistry now with each other.
Yeah.
You know, like in the beginning, it was everybody still kind of feeling each other out, even if they've worked with each other in indies. Now you're on a much bigger stage and you're feeling each other out. Now it feels like a lot of them, like, they know they can go into a match and give a solid match. It doesn't matter if it's Dynamite, if it's Dark or Elevation or now Rampage. They all know, okay, look, we can actually put on something good. And we also know that now the fans are really starting to watch and take notice, because, I mean, that's, the women's division has always been kind of the weaker point of AEW. And so now it's like, okay, well, you guys want us to root for you, we will, but you guys got to turn it up. And now they have,
great job, women's division. I came a long way, man.
It's kind of like, I hate to, pandemic and bad as it was, for an up and coming company like AEW, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because they were able to be a Daily's Place and they were able to continue to work on their craft and not be stuck at home. And that's very unfortunate that a lot of wrestlers that did happen to, like, especially the indie scene. But the fact that, like, they were able to really say, okay, look, we got stuff we got to work on. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it going. And now it's slowly starting to pay off. We're starting to see, like you said, all that hard work, all those weeks of getting your ass kicked, or whatever, it's starting to pay off. It really is.
So let me ask you a question, because before we go on to what happened over the weekend, I'm concerned for Britt Baker right now, because I thought somebody may be at a disadvantage or a handicap due to their injury. But what I've seen the last 3 weeks from Chris Statlander, I don't know how Britt beats her without cheating. Chris Statlander,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna just be
Chris
straight up.
Chris Statlander is scary right now. She, like, when she did the 720 moonsault, I was like, she's back to normal.
Yeah.
Like, these last 3 weeks, I am utterly impressed, and I'm like, this is scary. Like, you got another chick who's finally back in full form to add to the top of the women's division. Dude, like, they got a solid 5 or 6 right now. Like, they got a solid, I would say a solid 6 female wrestlers who are at the top of their game. And then they got other wrestlers that can wrestle them at a good pace. There's about 5 or 6, I would say, right now that they could main event some, like, Britt versus Statlander, Britt versus Conti. Those are some main event matches.
Well, I can tell you right off the bat, this is Jose's future booking. If it happens, I apologize. Okay. But So whenever Statlander faces Britt for the belt, Britt is obviously going to win via cheating, and then she's going to rub it in her face that she beat her undefeated streak. That's just how it's going to work. Yeah, because only because of the fact that as of late, commentary every time Statlander has a match, they are starting to emphasize that she has not been beaten yet.
Yes.
And then you have a champion, a heel champion like Britt. It just goes hand in hand. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be like some of the most flagrant out there, visible to everybody cheating. What's her name is going to, pull some shit. And it's just going to be, Britt talking about how like she beat her all by herself. And it's like, no, you didn't. We got it on DVR.
I just want to say this. I just want a clean match. Britt versus Conti.
Yeah.
Britt versus Conti. Kris Statlander, I can care less. Whatever happens, I'm okay with it. But Britt versus Conti, man, I need it to be clean because I don't want to be mad at Britt. But Conti, when she gets pissed off, that smile goes away.
When she gets pissed off, them knees to the face become real. What's her name?
She runs to you and then she drop kicks you in your chest. I'm like, her and Rosa does that, and I'm like, man.
Yeah, they do that like a lot. I mean, honestly, though, I'll be 100% honest with you. Conti, whenever that happens with Britt, I have a feeling Anna Jay is going to come back at that point in time. Whether she's a face or a heel is going to be the question, though.
Yeah.
But that's all in the future. Right now, overall, Rampage as a whole, I thought it was great because it didn't feel, it didn't feel again like, oh, this is just what they filmed after Dynamite. It didn't feel like, oh, this is just Dark or Dark Elevation. Like so far, all 4 shows, because yes, they are 4 shows. 2 of them just happen to be on YouTube, but they actually are like full-length shows. Each one of them, because I remember they feel like their own thing. Because I remember when Dark and then Dark Elevation started, a lot of people were like, well, wait, what's the difference between Dark and Dark Elevation? They're the same thing. But now, like, you understand Dark Elevation, that's where a lot of the stories either are starting or continuing. That's where they're cutting full promos. That's where they're doing this. Dark, not as much. Dark, it's kind of like almost like the developmental in a weird sense, without really being developmental. It kind of still is, like that's where you're just having like your smaller matches, even if you're a rookie, that this is your first year wrestling and you're facing like Jon Moxley, like, you're going to lose, but you're able to sit here and say, hey, I had a match with Jon Moxley, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I do agree with you. These next few Rampages should definitely be pretty locked in, pretty solid.
Let me add, don't make it till September 20th to Daniel Bryan. They have enough Rampage to last.
Yeah, they have enough stuff right there to like keep it going and keep it building.
And then what I say is that following Rampage after Daniel Bryan comes in that week, you bring Hangman Adam Page back on that Rampage, and just I think you're straight for the rest of the year. And then full gear comes. Kenny versus Hangman, good to go. Whole year taken care of.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. Like, it was great to see Christian win the TNA belt, but he's not winning the AEW belt.
No, I mean, Kenny's literally going to kill this man. Like, I expect Christian to be bloody. Like, I expect to see a lot of blood in that match.
Yeah, somebody can get busted open. The ring apron's gonna get ripped.
Somebody's gonna give Christian Cody's razor blade.
They're gonna be like, hey, quick, cosplay Cody, Cody.
Right here, get Spain right here. Real quick. So this weekend, I don't even know where to. Dude, let me tell you something, man. I hate to use the S card, but the shit that happened on Saturday, my brain is still trying to process how did this all transpire, because this never in my life would I have thought that this would have happened. It just, wow, like, oh man. I'll let you go in detail on what happened on Saturday with Kenny and Andrade, but I can't even, man. I'm literally speechless right now because I'm just like, I don't know how to feel because I'm like, this is probably going to trickle over, and I really don't want it to come my way. But it seems like this is now, and this is forbidden door territory. I don't have a choice but to accept what's about to happen. So, Jose, take it away and tell everybody why things are just wild and crazy right now.
All right, so just kind of double checking my notes real quick.
Disclaimer right here. Just be prepared, and you can't get mad at us. We didn't create this product, okay? We're only talking about it. We didn't fan book it. We didn't talk about it. It happened, and this is where we are. Oh, Jose, I'm gonna sit here and make funny faces while he talks. So.
All right. One quick second, just.
So, everybody doesn't know, Kenny fought Andrade for the AAA belt this Saturday. I think that match happened a lot sooner than I expected it, and I'm surprised it happened on that platform first. But some other things happened that could shock the wrestling world going forward. And some things I'm not in agreement with, some things I thought was kind of cool, some things I was like, it's more fucking drama. So, you got your notes? You good?
Yeah. Sorry, I was also having a little.
No, I'm just talking because I don't even want to talk about it. So I'm like, I literally can't believe. Like, never in my life I could have said that this probably would have happened.
So yeah, like I said, sorry, I was having also a little technical issue. Got that squared up. So actually, before I say that, I'm gonna put some little anticipation on it. Gonna make you let it sink in.
Okay.
It's funny because earlier in the week, Deonna Purrazzo tweeted that she wants to put her belt on the line in AEW.
I saw that.
She tweeted Tony Khan directly, and she on Saturday, because for those that don't know, it was AAA's Triple Mania pay-per-view event. They're one of their biggest pay-per-view events, basically like WrestleMania in a way. And Deonna Purrazzo, she won the Reina de Reinas AAA championship belt, basically the women's belt. So now she holds both belts. So it's like, and let's be realistic, she's holding both belts. And you got people like Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa over in AEW that could easily be really good competition for her. You got a couple others too, but we already kind of said how we feel like they could be more for Britt. Yeah. Whereas you got a couple specific ones that could be more for Purrazzo. So, like, come on, Tony, make it happen. We know you're watching this video.
It's easy money, man. It's easy money.
You make it happen. Because I just find it really interesting that the week of, she tweets out, hey, yo, I want to defend my title on AEW TV. And then lo and behold, at Triple Mania, she wins their belt too. So now she has two belts. It's like, come on now. We know what you're doing. You're building things.
That the foreshadowing looking real interesting right now. Just like, like you say, Tony Khan with another belt.
Exactly.
Dollar signs.
It's all there. And then there's actually a couple other notable things that happen in Triple Mania. One of my favorites, Psycho Clown, he actually had a mask versus hair match. For those of you that don't know, in Lucha Libre, there is a tradition of a mask versus hair match where the winner gets to either remove the mask or cut the hair of the loser. So if the loser is somebody that has a mask on, they have to take it off. And in Lucha Libre tradition, once that mask comes off, you cannot put that mask back on. If you put the mask back on, it has to be a completely different mask, or there has to be some long drawn out thing in order to gain the mask back. And then the equivalent of that is like getting your hair cut. Best way to think about it, and this is like a stretch, but best way to think about it, it's like, what was it? Samson from the Bible getting his hair
Yeah.
cut, he loses his power type thing. Basically, same thing. So there was that. The Lucha Bros retained their AAA tag belts. That's all I gotta say to that. I always root for those two, no matter
Lucha
what.
Bros on top of the world right now, man.
Yeah, they did that, and then there were a couple other things, but I will go ahead and point out the main thing that Rick is like begrudgingly wanting me to point out.
Let me start over here. Disclaimer.
And that is that the big match, Kenny Omega versus Andrade El Idolo happened for the AAA belt.
So well. Like I would literally spit all over my screen. I can't even say his last name, but much applaud to you, man.
Thank you. I try. Before we record, I sit there and I say these names like 10 times in a row.
This is my very own Justin Roberts, everybody.
So they came out. Obviously, Kenny comes out. So actually, there was something a little funny that happened before the match. So initially, Conan was supposed to come out with Andrade and be in his corner, but then in the back, Andrade's like, you know what? No, I don't need you to come out with me anymore. I got somebody much better for the job. Don't worry about it. So Conan got a little upset, obviously. So when Kenny comes out to his music, which again I like his entrance theme. I don't care what people say. And now Conan is with Kenny in his corner. So it's like, okay, cool.
Oh no.
Andrade comes out. First off, Andrade is full on DC black mask with the white suit, black gloves, black mask. He comes up from under the stage, pyrotechnics going, whatever. He just goes, stands there, takes everything off, whatever. And you're hearing the commentary and they're just hyping him up, amping him up. And then some similarly familiar music. I know that made no sense because it wasn't his exact old theme, but a certain music started playing. And then out of nowhere, you just see the commentators freak the hell out because Ric Flair, Andrade's soon-to-be father-in-law, rolls out. Audience loses their mind, which is rightly so. He comes out there. First off, Ric Flair looked like he was just loving it. He looked like he was beyond happy. He was like, yo, this is great. I'm here. I'm supporting my son-in-law, this, that, and the other. The crowd just cheering him on. He came out there. The Spanish announcers are like basically like speaking English, saying like, Ric Flair's here. And it is like amazing. And he comes out and it just added to Andrade's entrance, like just that power. So they basically have like a 5-star match. Fight me on that all you want, but it was like a 5-star match through and through. But the funniest thing happens, Kenny actually wins.
What? Kenny beat Andrade? Wow.
But in perfect heel fashion, he cheated by using the belt. But not only did he cheat, in AAA, there is a heel ref who this ref is mega heel. He's like no other ref has got anything on him. I cannot remember his name right now. I know it's like Hijo de something, but I cannot remember what it is. This heel ref, he will outright help the heels cheat. He will do, you know how you always complain about, oh, that was a fast count. No. His fast count literally is 1, 2, 3. Like he will count that fast. You will know it is bad. That's how bad he cheats. And the funny thing,
you can take pointers from this guy.
Exactly. Wow. And the funny thing is that because I was seeing a lot of people's reactions online, and a lot of people who clearly don't watch AAA didn't understand this and didn't understand how much of a heel he is, and didn't understand that Kenny Omega specifically asked for him to referee the match. So it was all stacked against Andrade. But the funny thing is, so even after, Andrade loses and he comes back into the ring, stares down, Kenny has the belt up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. He stares down Kenny and he just laughs and points at the belt and points it to himself saying that that's mine. And Kenny's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. But it was literally just like one of the most like that was like you know, people say there's like intense stare downs, but there's just something about like, yo, you just lost, granted it was cheating, but you still have the ability to come back and laugh in the champ's face and say that that belt's mine. Like, yeah, that right there. First
Andrade
off,
has ambition. Andrade
yeah,
wants to
that's
be
that
Kenny.
was that was great. And then there was actually a really great spot in the match too. The ref he got knocked out of the ring, and Kenny was gonna hit Andrade with the belt, right? The first one, you know, the standard. They're like this with the belt.
Yeah.
Come on, turn around, whatever. And Ric Flair hops in the ring, waits for him, turns him around, chop. So Kenny gets hit, he turns, Andrade, chop, he goes back and forth, and then gets knocked down. Conan gets in the ring, Ric Flair chops him too, and then they both put Kenny and Conan into the figure 4 leg lock. It was great. Like
you got to see the video, guys. It's one for the ages.
Yeah, it was amazing, and it was one of those like, oh look, father and son-in-law bond. So but it was great, like to see that. So not the outcome that I wanted, but that was like some solid storytelling. There's a lot of people believing that this is going to get resolved on AEW, that he's going to lose the belt on AEW, and you know, which would make sense because then that would sting more, because it's like, yeah, you don't lose your belts outside of AEW, but every time you have a match here, you're suddenly losing them. You know,
that'd be a nice setup. And then he goes into All Out with one belt.
Exactly. Yeah, you just have that one belt at All Out. Now you make it even more desperation, and then that could play into what you said earlier about like him messing up Christian so much that Christian's all bloodied and beaten up, but because he had to, because he literally only has one belt left, and that like would work really well. I'm actually really curious to see how they're going to start kind of weaving this in on AEW, especially since Andrade did not get a belt, but the Lucha Bros kept their belts. And this whole time Andrade's been saying, if you come work with me, we'll get you gold. And it's like, bro, yeah, but you didn't even get your gold.
But you see what's happening though. Lucha Brothers are getting in Pac's ass. What are you gonna do, Pac? What are you gonna do?
Isn't it already been confirmed that for All Out it's gonna be Pac and Andrade?
I think so, and I'm like,
because that match is gonna be pretty damn
Pac taking that L hard.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be like like how you said you can't pick between Ty Conti and Britt.
Yeah.
As much as I love Andrade, that's one of those matches where it's like, dude, like I really don't know. Like this, either way, either person winning, I'd be happy. But like that's gonna be somebody gonna.
Power goes to Andrade. The wrestling mechanics is Pac, man. But Andrade has all the power in the world to put him down, man. It's So what we're gonna try to start doing, one thing we talk about AEW all the time. I really want to move forward, and I really don't want to touch WWE. I mean, we can sprinkle a little bit in because there's always drama and stuff, and people getting released. And you know, and AEW signs everybody, don't even sign 5 guys right now, but whatever. Definitely want to start incorporating Japan, the other promotions in here. I got to start being diligent on Impact again. I fell off. I'm trying to jump back on it. Now, I should be good the next few weeks. With Christian on there, I should be fine. Because I was getting tired of Kenny and Sammy Kellen. I was so sick of that, feud. With Christian, it's going to be interesting this week because he has so much history with them. So I'm super excited to see how, you know, they should welcome him in. They're going to be guys who are going to want the belt. But I think he's going to have more of a welcome home. So
no, I agree. I definitely agree.
So what we're going to do is we pretty much we're going to wrap this up. And there's still a lot to talk about. But just everybody, just remember, got Dynamite this week. There's going to be a lot of stuff drop, potentially for this Friday. This Friday, if things go according to plan, and as Darby Allin alluded to, and Tony Khan chooses not to admit to, and the whole rest of the world doesn't choose to admit to, if this happens, the internet's gonna freaking break. Like it's gonna be Broly versus Goku all over again. Internet breaks. You have the projector up in Mexico. Everybody's out in the street watching.
I know what video you're talking about.
I'm telling you, the way I would do this, and this is what I think is going to happen. And hear me out, and I'm gonna wrap this up. So, if you guys have been paying attention to AEW's social media stuff, they have a lot of banners in New York City right now, right, for Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised in Times Square if, when that pop happens, they have it displaying in Times Square somewhere.
I can see that. Yeah,
dude, that would just be, man. Friday could be the day for wrestling. Like, not a lot of people are invested in CM Punk. You know, spoilers. But if this happens, this could go down probably the top 5, top 10 wrestling moments of all time, by far. Like, this is where wrestling changes. The generation changes, and this wrestling just turns into something totally different. I'd see wrestling. It's on a great path now, but I see this day being a defining day for wrestling, and it's either gonna go one or two ways. And I cannot wait, man. It's the anticipation. They gotta do it in the first 2 minutes. You cannot wait all night and go out with him coming out. You can't do that.
You can't do that because of the fact that the audience won't let you. From the minute the door is open, even before the door is open, they're going to be chanting his name all night.
Every match is going to be shit.
Yeah, so there is no like that's kind of like the bad thing about this is that, don't get me wrong, it's great if he shows up and everything, but it's like the fans are going to be overexcited and they're only going to be chanting his name all night. So yeah, whatever you're gonna do on Friday, that's kind of like the bad thing. That's kind of why plans change with Hangman, aside from his wife being pregnant and almost getting ready to give birth, is because of the fact that, like, when you got him and Brian supposedly coming in, fans aren't going to care about anything else but that. So Rampage, hopefully it should be good, but unfortunately this is going to be one of those ones where the audience might actually ruin it. Let's just call it what it is. And I get it, they're excited and there's a lot to it, but you know that audiences, as much as wrestling has needed them back, audiences can ruin a wrestling show.
And you see that Chicago, if you win Chicago, you just won Pittsburgh, like, by far. Pittsburgh is AEW's town now. Like, there's nothing any other promotion can do in Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh, and AEW's not enough. If you win Chicago, you already won the state of Texas already. Like, you're in Houston, Galveston. Like, when Sammy's pop this week in Houston is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dude, if you get Chicago, I heard Chicago, and I know how hard he go for Punk when he was in WWE, and I saw when, was it 2 weeks ago when they were in WWE, was in Chicago, all those CM Punk chants. So
CM Punk, Bray Wyatt, everybody.
Man, great time to be a wrestling fan. I keep saying that. Enjoy what you enjoy, love what you love. It's wrestling fans in general that makes all this happen. So, and reason that I'm back into it, the reason Jose keeps me honest, the reason he stays into it. So I'm super excited to do more of these vlogs, podcasts, what do you want to call these things, vlogs. But thank you being a part of this and being a great friend and being a good host too, man. So I appreciate it.
For sure.